Let's study about a new chapter called The Changing Face of the Earth. Earth is a highly dynamic and active planet. On the Earth, there are different forces which are continuous and working constantly, and these forces are changing the face of the Earth. So, these forces are varied and they affect the face of the Earth very differently. These forces are divided into two categories. So Earth's movements are divided into endogenic or internal forces, exogenic or external forces. First, let's understand about the endogenetic forces. These forces arise from inside of the Earth, inner surfaces of the Earth. They are sudden and examples are earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, forces of the mountains, buildings, etc. Next is plate tectonics. So there is a theory of plate tectonics. Let's understand what is plate tectonics. The lithosphere, the land, it is broken into small number of pieces known as tectonics or lithospheric plates. These plates, they float on the semi-molten rocks, that is on the lava rocks. They float on the lower portion of the upper mantle, that is inner surface of the earth, which is also known as asthenosphere. So these plates are floating and always moving also. So that asthenosphere has temperature of about 1600 degrees centigrade, which is very high temperature. So at this temperature the rocks are in a molten state, that is semi-liquid state, and they can flow in a thick and viscous way. Let's study about the formation of convection cells. So when there is heat inside the surface of the earth, in the crust, in the mantle, this heat sets some disturbances known as convection cells in the mantle of the earth, that is inner crust of the earth. So these convection cells, they are formed due to rising currents of the heated magma. There is semi-liquid magma flowing, right? Because of that flowing magma, there are currents rising, and these result in formation of the convection cells. And when this semi-liquid substance known as magma, it reaches the top of the surface of the earth, it cools down, it becomes heavy, and again it goes into the inner surface of the earth only to get heated and rise once again. So these rising currents of heated magma cause the tectonic plates floating on the asthenosphere to move around, slide, collide and pull away from each other. So the rising currents of the heated magma cause the tectonic plates to float and also to slide, collide and pull away from each other. So these plates, if they move towards each other, they form as convergent plates. For example, Himalayas and Andes mountains. So they are nothing but two convergent plates come together and form a high rising surface over the surface of the earth, which are known as mountains. Examples are Himalayas and Andes mountains. And if these tectonic plates move away from each other, then they create a cracked sort of thing on the earth's surface. Example is Mariana Trench. So they create something called divergent plates. So this is how convection currents cause the rising magma to flow and collide. This is the inner surface of the earth. This is the upper surface of the earth. So this is a diverging plate causing a trench. And then mountain forms due to convergent plates, right? So there are forces acting on that, on mountain building. These forces are slow and continuous, and forces are of two types, folding forces and faulting forces. So what is folding force? When two tectonic plates push against each other, they land up at a point of contact and then they form a series of folds. These series of folds form mountains known as fold mountains. Example, Himalayas, Alps, Andes, etc. And what is faulting force? When rocks are compressed beyond a point, they develop cracks or fractures. They are known as faults. So these faults develop due to forces of tension and when the plates are pulled apart. So when land is pushed up between these two fault lines, block mountains are created. So folding mountains have pointed ends. Faulting mountains are block mountains. They do not have pointed sharp edges at the top. So example of block mountains are Black Forest Mountains in the Germany. And then when land subsides between these two fault lines, valleys are formed. Examples are valleys of Narmada and Tapti rivers. So this is a fold mountain which is having sharp edges at